Hello everyone, welcome to the final weekly show of the season for CANrace. I'm Bryce Turner alongside Caitlin Patrick and Stephen Ellis, where we're here at Hampshire Motor Speedway, home of the NASCAR Pinty Series finale. The first time the series racing on this new configuration, and what a race it was. Lots of close action. We got some wrecks, some drama, some certainly heat between different teams, and a last turn pass that saw Caden Lapsevich win over Donald Teague. Alex LeBay retired from the race early, but still the champion. We could talk about this all day. Thoughts?
Okay, so, there's been a lot of talk online. People are saying there should be higher car counts. Put it this way, it didn't matter how many cars there were in. That was an incredible race. That was an incredible night. The fireworks were great. The lights were fantastic. I don't think, we saw a light show before the race.
The fireworks were really long.
Full out fireworks. Homestead, Miami right there.
Yeah, exactly. You would have expected this to be a Monster Energy Cup Series race. That was unbelievable. We did see the drama with the 32 leaving the race early, but he was still smiling. I think he was the happiest last place finisher of all time.
He was really disappointed when I saw him first come off, because they were trying to fix the car, and because what was it? He had 2 flat tires and then had a little bit damage, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong, and they were trying to fix it when they brought it behind the pit wall, and then finally the NASCAR officials kind of said, "You're done. Just give up. You're already the champion. You don't need to win the race." But you could tell that he wanted to, but there was that twinkling of disappointment. But overall, that race was amazing. But for Steven and I, we were in the infield taking photos. We always seem to be on the other side of the track when the wrecks happen.
Every time. And
it was Murphy's Law, right?
I should to add on to that. It was like when we went to Mosport a couple of weeks ago, and we for the truck race, and we move out of turn 1. It's like, nothing's happening, and John had a Nemechek wreck a few laps ago.
It's Murphy's Law. No matter where you are on the track, it happened to me at the Indy too. I'd be in turn 1. I left to go to turn 8, wreck. Left turn 8 to go to, I think it was turn 10. Wreck. Yep. It's Murphy's Law. As a racing photographer, it's pure luck. You got to be in the right place at the right time.
And even from my viewpoint, I was in the media room, just on the balcony outside the media room, watching the race. Norris McDonald from the Toronto Star was there for the first part. I was watching with him, and there was a lot of I see a crash, and I'm like, all of a sudden you jump, you point, and there was just a lot of action. You could see that the drivers were really trying for the win. There's no point saving the equipment. We're entering a super long off-season, so everyone was just going at it, giving it their all, and there was tons of drama, exciting race, and what a season it's been from coast to coast, and lots of great races, whether we've been there or not. What stands out to you the most from this season?
Well, to bring up the whole season back to this race, for example, we saw, I think, the accumulation of everything in this season. We saw a guy who's won a few races already this year in Lapsevich. We only did see 4 winners, but I think we could say it was some pretty good 4 winners. We saw some drama, with the LeBay versus Lacroix, and then today it was Lapsevich against everybody. And it's like, we saw drama and this race, we saw drama all season long. We saw some great finishes. We saw some heartbreak for some teams. I gotta feel so bad for Anthony Simone. I don't know what it'll take for him to finally get a consistent run throughout the whole race. And then, of course, the 2 mix cars, the 02 and the 9. Wow, it seemed like they didn't finish a single race this year, or at least any of the ones we went to. It just seemed like they always had bad luck. So, gotta feel bad for them. But, that's what I want to say. It seemed like everything that we had noticed all season long. We saw Andrew Ranger struggles. We saw the top guys, running up front the whole time. And it kind of just all accumulated today. And I want to give a shout out, Larry Jackson. That was one heck of a race.
Yeah, Steve and I legitimately ran from one end of the track to the other because we saw Larry was in second place, and we were so excited by just the thought of him competing for a lead that everyone was looking at us like, why are you running? And Larry Jackson was in second place. I mean, he could have led a lap. That never happens.
Like his best finish ever is 3rd place, so that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, to see him lead a lap in 2017 would have been amazing.
And aside from Tagliani winning at Trevor Vieira, like we mentioned, there's been the top 3 all season. Certainly Caden Lapsevich has won a few, but it's really been the battle of LeBay versus Lacroix. Lacroix's strong on the road courses, LeBay strong on the ovals, but we saw lots of close battles for the lead, and certainly lots of different racing action throughout the year. There's been lots of excitement, lots of storylines to follow, and a new storyline to follow for next year is a schedule change for the Pinty Series. Caitlin has more on that.
I'm here at Hampshire Motor Speedway, and as you can see behind me, the celebration is still going for Alex LeBay, who just won the 2017 Pinty's Championship. But we are still looking forward to 2018. This season's over, but next season is still to come. This past week, NASCAR Home Tracks announced that there will be a Pinty's race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway next year in September. I talked to some of the Pinty's drivers to see how they feel about going to the States for the first time. What are your thoughts about the Pinty's series going to New Hampshire next year?
I like that. As long as I have a car to drive, it'd be great. Been there before in late model, it ran really well. When we practiced there, or qualified or whatever they call it, we ran from the back right up to the front. Went back there with a different setup and didn't run very well, but we had a blast.
We're going to find out. I mean, it's a cool facility, obviously. All the big boys race there, and it'll be a good place to showcase our stuff, I think. It's going to be a little bit hectic, I think, crossing the border and all the stuff for the teams, but hopefully we can go there and put on a good show for the fans, because that's what it's all about.
It's different for sure. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great race. I haven't heard if it's a points race or a special or a one-off or what it is, but we'll be there for sure, and I think it'll be great for the series, great exposure for the rest of the guys in the series, and showcase some of the Canadian talent down south, and maybe some guys down south can get a ride. So I think it's good for everybody.
I mean, it's a cool idea, but I think the cost effect of it might be a little more than what some of us can afford. I know we'll try and be there for sure, because I think it'll be cool to get in front of that American-based crowd, being in front of a different group of people than we're normally used to. So it has its flaws, but I think there's a lot of really good things that can come out of it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. We have some good racing now in our series since Pinty's came on board as a title sponsor. We have Toronto, we have GP3R, we have the 2 mile sport race, we have this race, we have Riverside, and now New Hampshire. So I think we have marquee events in our series, and having almost a bit more than half of the season on 2 races like that, it's just gonna increase the level and the credibility, and it's good for everyone.
What do you think the biggest challenges are going to be getting these Canadian teams down to the States?
Whoa, you mean just to do the race, or to want to participate?
Just to want to participate.
Everybody's going to participate. If it's part of the championship, they're not going to stay home. It's going to be another round in our season, and we're going to go there, and it's going to be another track. I think it's going to be a really amazing track to run on for our car, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
It's no different. We do a lot of traveling as it is. It's just, the deal at the border. It can go either way. So hopefully NASCAR gives us a hand, get all our paperwork right, and we'll go from there.
The trucks getting through all across the border and, through all the states, it's, from what I know, that, the whole trucking thing is different down there. So that's going to be probably the toughest part, and, probably trying to find sponsorship to get down there too. So, we'll work at it, see what we can do, and, hope we can be down there next year.
For Canadian teams to get down there, it's just like anything. It's just another race out of the series, and it's just sheer dollars and cents at the end of the day. Hotels, fuel, manpower, people getting time off work, just the usual. 13 races, 12 races this year, I can't remember. We're up to 14 next year. It's going to be crazy, and let's see what happens, I guess.
Just definitely the speed and the size of the track, something that we're not typically used to running. Reinforcing windshields, like at CTMP we get going pretty fast, but a 1 mile oval will be going around there pretty good. So I think it's just basically keeping the car all together and figuring out how to make these Pinty cars go around a 1 mile oval.
What do you think the exposure is going to be like going down to the States with all these Canadian sponsors?
I think it could be big for Canadian companies to show their product in the States and try and expand on it throughout. So, like I said, it has its flaws and it has its pros, but, I think it definitely has a lot of pros that, could be really good for our series.
Yeah, I think, overall, when you race outside of the Canadian market, I think, the Canadian sponsors are not really gonna look at it as a great deal, but it's another race on TV, so it's gonna be a 14th round, and just because of that, it's more exposure, and they're gonna like that.
It's cool. It's a good deal. Most of our sponsors are Canadian though, so hopefully it just gets us a little extra exposure, and it's always good to have exposure for your sponsors. So obviously there'll be a lot of people there and so on. It's something that we can use as a promotional product.
I think it's great for the series. I think that it's going to be able to showcase some of our Canadian talent down there. Not many people know that we have such great racers in Canada, and going down there and racing in front of the American fans is going to showcase what we can do on the track. So I think it's going to be all around really good and get more interest from American drivers to maybe come into our series for grassroots racing before they move up the ladder in the States.
Exposure of any nature is really good, and international is even better. We'll see how far we can take this series. Hopefully we get more cars. You know, the word around the pits right now, everyone wants a car for New Hampshire now, so hopefully we get a lot more oval cars, and it should be a blast.
So New Hampshire next year, that will be something to look forward to. And as we get ready to wrap up our final regular show of the season, can you believe it? Some final thoughts from you guys.
Well, got to say, easily one of the best battles we've seen in the Pinty Series history has to be Lacroix versus LeBay. That was incredible. They were on each other. There was some shouting. There was definitely some hatred. And we know LeBay is going to be racing in the States full time next year, and I think he's proven that he deserves it. And he was great back before he got into the Pinty Series. If you watched him in the beginning of Pinty's career, you may think, how did he get so good? He was always good. He just didn't have the equipment, and we got to see that this year. And Lacroix's future, we expect him to be back, but we've heard rumors he won't be back. So there will be a void missing there, and it'll be interesting to see. If Lapsevich comes back, for example, will he continue to be one of the strong guys, and are we going to have a changing the guard? And I think most fans will want to see Donald Teague win a race after today. That's got to be a heartbreaker. How many times was he so close to winning a race and just come up short? Today was definitely no exception.
A little too short. Yeah, and then we also have to go back and ask what could have changed to make maybe the championship more tight, closer, tight. And I think it really came down to that race in Riverside where Lacroix got penalized for hitting LeBay after the checkered flag. That if he hadn't done that, and like you said, the last few races, it was just, especially this race, it was just rivalries and fights and just built up tension and anger at other teams just coming together, and sometimes people just snap. I think if Lacroix hadn't done that, we might have seen a much closer battle for the championship.
And quite a difference between different races. We've gone to short tracks, we've gone to road courses, lots of different storylines, as I mentioned. And a big part for me, of course, in the personal note, is to be able to get CANrace here together, because the plans were a bit uncertain with about a month to go before the start of the season. But luckily I found some great teammates here, and Caitlin and Stephen to work with for this season. It's come along great. We've had some cool features, headlined by the Larry Jackson Firehouse feature that got record number of views for us. And to be able to get to 6 race weekends again here, all the race weekends in Ontario plus Trois-Rivières, was really special, really cool, and a fun time to be able to see all this. So I thank my crew.
I want to say something. If you guys don't know, Bryce pretty much backs this whole thing, and Bryce does a fantastic job. He organizes it, so you're going to see a lot of Bryce in the future for sure.
Yeah, I want to give you a special thank you, Bryce. I have never been to a Pinty's race, nor have I been behind the scenes at a race, and you have given me you've basically shown me what I want to do in life, and it's pretty amazing, and I just wanted to thank you for that. But we do have a lot of great stuff coming up in the off season. Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, so, well, thank you guys. Certainly it's been fun working with you, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without you two and without the viewers. Of course, thanks for watching, to the viewers too, because if we didn't have any views, it would be hard to justify coming out to do this.
Yeah, is anyone watching us?
Yeah. So it's really been awesome, great working with everybody, and the entire NASCAR community as well. It's been really fun. And yeah, we got some cool features coming up where Stephen's got some really funny questions he asked Larry Jackson, so we'll have that, and maybe we'll have a go-kart race between the three of us. We're planning
I'm going to win.
He's being cocky. He's not going to win. I'm going to pull a Danica Patrick, as my namesake says, and I'm going to beat her. I'm going to beat her. I'm going to be a better version of Danica Patrick, so to say. But we've also got maybe a bloopers episode coming up, because I screw up a lot. Let's be honest.
And we've had a couple things with drivers that have gone on pretty funny. So
yeah, like something today with, I was interviewing Larry Jackson, and a TSN member came up and kissed him on the cheek. It gets weird behind the scenes. You don't see all this, but that's one thing I love about Pinty Series is it's one close community. Everyone knows everyone, and it's just so great because you come to work every weekend and you see your friends.
Actually, I do want to say something else on that. That's another thing. You know, we were here for 6 weekends, and most of it were double-day weekends, except for the 2 ovals we went to. And you see the same people every time, get to know them very well, and you get to communicate with them on Twitter, and it's good connections. The Pinty Series is fantastic. I know, again, a lot of people will say it doesn't get the CASCAR numbers it used to. It doesn't get the 30 cars entering this race.
It's expensive now, though.
Yeah, this track used to get 40 cars to it. But here's the thing, the competition has never been stronger. We got some of the best drivers in the country. We got guys who have now raced the Daytona 500. We got a guy who's likely going to go full-time in Cup in a few years. So that's something, again, you don't get anywhere, and they're everywhere else, so that's pretty cool.
I'm making a prediction. Alex Labbe is going to be the next Canadian to win a Cup race.
A lot of people expect him to be an Xfinity champion in the next 3 years.
That'd be amazing. Could you imagine?
Lots of awesome talent here in Canada as well, and a great way to showcase it in NASCAR Canada, and it's been just a really awesome season. So thanks again, everyone, for watching. Check back, because we will have some cool updates here as the off-season begins, so check back with CANrace's social media channels for sure. But for now, that's all for our weekly shows. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Wait.